Katy seems to advertise herself as someone who would hold the government accountable. However, she sets a very different standard when she is required to hold some accountability to herself and her office staff. After months and months of Katy's office ignoring my emails regarding proposed legislation amendments, I sent an email expressing my frustration and requested a phone number and address of her office. I was trying to open up an easier form of communication. Shortly after, I received a call from the police asking questions about the email. Katy's office reported to the police that in my email I requested her personal phone number and address, implying that I wished to stalk or harass her. The police officer was quite reasonable and advised that I have a right to contact Katy's office and I should only do so professionally and be careful how I word correspondence. For months after this phone call I suffered from stress and anxiety. I was worried that I would get in trouble for practicing my democratic rights. I genuinely felt depressed and suffered from sleepless nights. I eventually built the courage to contact Katy's office. The office manager did not show any empathy. She instead showed that she was frustrated and did not want to deal with my call. I wanted to know two things. On what basis did they forward the complaint to the AFP, and why did they lie about what I said in their report to the AFP? The office manager advised that she would look into my request and get back to me. She then sent through old correspondence not related to my request. I followed this up with a phone call. She advised that she could not find any information as the person who was handling my request originally no longer worked in the office. She refused to investigate it any further and gave me incorrect information about making FOI requests. Eventually she agreed to escalate the request to the Chief of Staff in Katy's ministerial office. He then sent through confusing and misleading correspondence about FOI requests. He also tried to oppress my democratic rights and asked me to no longer contact Katy's office about this issue. I attempted to reach out to him by email and phone to clarify the information he had provided. My attempts were ignored. I then submitted an FOI request to Katy's office, which was passed through to the Department of Finance. This is where the Chief of Staff said I should send my request originally. According to the decision maker, my request was not related to a government agency and therefore was rejected. The FOI rejection letter stated that there were multiple items related to my request. This contradicts the advice I received from the office manager, who said the information could not be found. I contacted the ministerial office to find out who was accountable for the actions of both offices. The person on the phone advised that she could only leave a message for the Chief of Staff. I expressed my concerns that the staff left notes for him in the past, but he refused to contact me. She showed no empathy or interest in my concerns. She repeated herself and then ended the call abruptly. I have created this video to share my story and bring light to the lack of integrity from a senator's office who declares to have held previous governments accountable. Please share my story to provide the public with knowledge on how ministers and senators run their offices.